Larry Kudlow Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Brad Velicovich, founder of Power Us, is a former Special Ops Intel executive and a Fox News contributor. Brett, thanks for a little time on Saturday. Appreciate it.
Hey, Larry, thank you.
You betcha. So everybody on Wall Street's talking about this Strait of Hormuz. The media is telling us that the Pentagon planners didn't know that it was going to be a problem. Jack Keane demolished that one earlier in the show. But I guess the question I have is there's a lot of talk about Marines, Marine Expedition Forces, or there's stuff in the paper today, 17,000 ground troops. None of that is official or formal. But what's it take, in your judgment, to reopen Hormuz? I know it's going to happen, and I know we're going to wind up running it, as we should, but what's it take to reopen it?
Not sure how to tackle your taxes? Are you sweating the small print? You may be experiencing FOMO, the fear of messing up. The answer? Using TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it. With a personalized plan designed to help you hit your money goals. It's time to take your taxes to the max. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Well, look, I think that you can only do so much from the air. We'll say that. I think air power gets you about 80 to 90% of the way there. You can bomb a position all day, but until you really control it, your enemy can come back. So I think, high impact ground operations, if used correctly, potentially could close that gap. That's why you're seeing discussions about airborne troops and Marine elements in the region, not for the occupation, that would be a major mistake, but really for precision missions, to seize key positions, eliminate some of the threats out there. And, at the same time, what's unfolding around the Strait of Hormuz, in my opinion, is exactly why strong U.S. military presence matters. And I think the whole moment just underscores a very simple truth. When the stakes are the highest, the world still relies on U.S. leadership to keep critical systems functioning. And Iran can test the edges, but it's not going to be able to control the outcome when faced with sustained, coordinated American power. And, the straits are very strategic here, obviously. If the strait becomes sort of this toll booth controlled by Tehran, every adversary around the world is going to start taking notes. That's why the administration posture matters here. It's about deterrence through clarity, not ambiguity. The U.S. isn't just defending ships. It's going to be defending the rules of the global system. And we need to make sure economically that our strength out there translates directly into stability so markets don't panic, as you know.
Yeah, I mean, listen, freedom of the seas is a very important principle. And
right.
You're right. That we have to make that very clear. What are these, Brett, what are these there's two tiny islands near the choke point. People are talking about that, and perhaps that's where some Marines might come and take them over.
Yeah, I mean,
I should have their names in front of me, but I don't. But there's these two, not carved.
Yeah, I believe they're called the Abu Musa and the Lesser Pund Islands. They're controlled by Iran. They look frankly insignificant on a map, but in reality, they are forward operating platforms sitting right on top of the world's most critical maritime choke points.
Yeah.
And when you look at these positions, they have radar, they have anti-ship missiles, drones, attack craft, and it kind of gives them this ability to monitor or harass and threaten traffic. Unfortunately in Hormuz, a few rocks of water can control trillions in global trade, and that's really where the U.S. has to focus its efforts so that, basically every destroyer that we have in the Gulf is kind of this guardrail to protect ships and the global economy and protect against global inflation. So those are very strategic areas that definitely are very important to control. And I know that the military, this talk about the military not having a plan is just absurd. I mean, I remember focusing on a plan for this decades ago, and there were many people, echelons above me, that would look at this very, very closely. And the reality is that our forces are trained to adapt. They're trained to figure out what Iran is going to do next and maneuver on that. But they've always known that was going to be the number one thing that Iran was going to try and do should they be threatened heavily. And so I think the overall point here is, they can try and threaten the system, but America is going to make sure they're not going to run it fully. No,
I think, General Keane said to me earlier in the show, he said when he was a junior officer, after the Marine barracks were hit in Lebanon, that was 1983, if I'm not mistaken, they've been planning for this or, running exercises, so they know all about it. Listen, Brett, my view, I'm not a military man, but we need to take these islands, we need to reopen the strait, and we need to run the strait. We need to run it, all right? For however long, I don't know. My guess is a long time. And maybe there'll be a coalition of Gulf states and Europeans and whatever, but we need to run it. I think Mr. Trump will want it to be like Venezuela. We control the oil, we control the money, and we control the disbursements of the money with respect to Iran. I think that's where we're going, Brett.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return,
but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
You're exactly right. And I think, if anything, our partners should step up a bit. I just came back from Abu Dhabi and UAE, and conversations I've had with Gulf leaders are, in my opinion, proof that they're getting tired of the Iranian regime. And if anything, this has brought a lot of allies who otherwise would stay neutral closer. And so the U.S. and partners in that area, when combined, they have vastly superior surveillance and range and all kinds of technology that is able to do this correctly, especially, if anything's launched from those islands you talked about, and neutralize them. And I think the administration's posture really recognizes that you do have to control the high ground here. And it should be sort of this whole of global government approach to it, because right now Iran strategically is betting that the United States really just doesn't have the will to finish what it started.
That's right. That's the key point.
And they're calculating. They're calculating we won't hit back hard enough, and that's why leadership matters right now. President Trump's dealing with a situation that didn't develop overnight. This has been going on in the region for decades, and so we have to reestablish clarity for the global economy, that it can't be held hostage, that toying with nuclear Armageddon has consequences. And right now, our military is really going to be the only thing standing in the way between stability and total disruption in the region. And we really shouldn't stop until total victory is secured.
Yeah, well put. Well put. Brett Velicovich, founder of Power Us, former Special Ops Intel, Fox News contributor. Thank you, Brett. On a Saturday, we appreciate it very much. Folks, quick break. Now we're going to do some economics with Mike Faulkner and John Carney. I'm Kudlow. We'll be right back.
The Larry Kudlow Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.